Yes, you hear that? That's the beautiful sound of trolls everywhere, already fiercely typing away at their keyboards, commenting that the wage gap is a myth before they even watch the first 15 seconds of this video. Music to my ears. Now, if you don't believe the pay gap exists, you might want to Google it, because Google is in some hot water with the Department of Labor for extreme pay discrimination against women. I'm Hannah Cranston, and I'm about to wage war on Google for perpetuating pay disparity and spewing some major BS in the process. But please still let me keep my job on YouTube. Thank you. Last Friday, the US Labor Department accused your favorite search engine. If you use Bing, you should probably stop watching this video and reevaluate some life decisions. Well, they accused Google of systemic compensation disparities after investigating some of the company's job and salary history data. So why was the DOL all up in Google's interface? Well, the investigation is actually part of a lawsuit that the government has filed against the tech company because the Googs refused to hand over compensation information. Wonder why? Google has contracts with the federal government, which means that they need to comply with routine audits that ensure that the company is abiding by equal employment laws. Now, these laws basically protect employees from discrimination based on race, sex, religion, sexual orientation, and national origin. Trump is currently rolling back these laws against discrimination, but that's neither here nor there. This time around, Google told the Department of Labor, no thanks, to providing all the information needed for the audit, and that didn't fly. So the DOL took the company to court and discovered what Google probably didn't want to surface in their search results. According to the Office of Federal Contract Compliance, there is very significant discrimination against women, and that there's a pay gap that exists across the entire workforce. Now, Google still claims that they are gender blind when it comes to compensation models and denies any gender-based disparity in the salary at their company. They also claim that the OFCC is asking for way too much information about compensation, which seems to be a necessary component for an investigation on compensation. And while in this case, the pay gap between men and women at Google is extreme, and the tech industry is notorious for a lack of gender diversity and salary disparity, this is just a high-profile example of the much bigger issue of the wage gap that exists across the country and around the world. Now, as many of you like to so politely point out on my Instagram, there are some issues with the frequently referenced women make 79 cents to the dollar statistic.
Typical woman who works full-time still earns 79 cents for every dollar that the typical man does.
In that, it simply compares the median salary for women to that of men. So while it's an accurate figure, it doesn't account for different size gaps in varying industries, maternity leave or time off for family care, differing education levels, or even different jobs. That said, the gap does exist, and it's evident from the moment men and women enter the job market. A recent study compared MBA graduate salaries to see how this gap plays out on a more micro level. All else being equal, men will still make more in their first jobs after graduation than women. And this gap only widens with age and with conflicting responsibilities that put a unique burden on women, like childcare. But even when you take out the mommy argument, childless women still make less than men in comparable positions and industries. So you can save that drama for your mama. Now let's take a look back at my Instagram. This one, women choose to go into lower paying professions. Now, while I have often chosen positions based on which pays the least, there's actually a lot of evidence that shows that when women enter an industry, the pay for those jobs decreases. And this goes for predominantly female fields, as well as ones that are predominantly male. And you can also shove all your well, women are just not good negotiators nonsense right up your gap, because studies show that women are in fact perfectly suitable at negotiating. But they know that from different studies and from experience that managers are less interested in working with women who ask for higher salaries. Studies show that they can even face backlash for doing so in the form of fewer assignments, negative performance reviews, and even having job offers rescinded. And lastly, my personal favorite argument from the wage gap is a myth camp, that women don't work hard enough. Now, if the people who say things like this had, I don't know, ever come in contact with a woman, then they would know that this is not true. But just for funsies, I'll break this last one down for you real plain and simple. Women work a lot, but unfortunately, even when women work more hours than men in the same position, they do not get the same recognition for it. And then after they've worked their 15-hour day, do you know what they do? Unpaid, they go home and make dinner, take care of the kids, wash the dishes, take care of their partners, do the laundry, clean the house, put the kids to bed, probably respond to more work emails. and then do it all over again the next day. In fact, in the United States, women on average do over 4 hours of unpaid work a day, which is 60% more than unpaid work completed by men. So while I know my work will be cut out for me in the comment section of my Instagram after discussing such a polarizing fact on the internet, let's just do a quick recap. The wage gap exists. Google appears to have provided a great example of it in one of the largest, most well-known companies in the world, and we can start to shrink the gap by first acknowledging its existence and then making adjustments both at the policy level, like keeping equal pay legislation Donald and recognizing unpaid labor, and at the business level by allowing for more flexible hours to accommodate childcare needs and addressing these disparities. Also, by sharing this video with your friends so we can avoid more BS like this. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, and I can promise it pays to follow me at Hannah Cranston.